Hi Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before I begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. This person is not me. They are a scammer. Do not be scammed. I will not be soliciting you for anything. With that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Brilliant. Now let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. All right, we're just going to move these down a little bit so that you guys can see better. Awesome. All right, let's see what chakra energy we need to be focusing on during this time. What is the chakra energy that Capricorn needs to be focusing on during the March 2021 full moon? What is the chakra energy that Capricorn needs to be focusing on March 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. And then finally, the spirit guide message. How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Okay, you have these three showing up, so that's brilliant. So we're going to see how the tarot correlates to the moon, to the spirit animal guidance for this time, and for not guidance, but they're the animals that rule these months, and the chakra and spirit guide message. So the left-hand side here is the inner self. The middle is the heart, the emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the tarot has to say. We start off with the Nine of Wands. Then we have the Death card, so strong Scorpio energy coming forward. Time frame October 23rd to November 21st. We have the Page of Swords, which is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, very much linking us with the full moon in Libra. There we go. This is going to be very much a teacher for us. And the Four of Swords coming forward, reflection on the hurts, the pains, the disappointments that we have been through. The Queen of Pentacles, which of course is us coming through as a queen. We're represented by the pentacles in the minor arcana. We're represented by the devil in the major arcana, which I always have thought was rather rude, but you know, it does make a bit of sense. So here we have the Queen of Pentacles coming forward in our hearts. We're really taking control over our hearts and also having prosperity to guide us and to lead us forward. We have the Nine of Cups, the repeat of the number 9, shows that we're coming to the completion of a cycle. We have the Knight of Wands, which is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. This very much plays to the new moon in Aries, but also, yeah, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, yeah. I had to remember what I just said. And this also plays to the fact that the sun is in Aries. Then we have the moon coming forward, which of course represents Pisces energy, February 19th to March 20th. But this is very much telling us that the moon is very much going to affect our hearts, which makes perfect sense since Libra is ruled by Venus. And we have the sun energy coming in with Aries coming forward with the Knight of Wands. And Aries is going to be where kind of Venus is aligned with during this time, because Venus, the sun, and Chiron are all aligned during this moon. So, and of course the sun is in Aries. And then on the inner self, on the public arena, we have the Ace of Wands. We're getting a gift of passion, of creativity. We have the Lovers coming in, which of course represents Gemini energy, time frame of May 21st to June 20th. The Five of Wands comes forward. So it's love, and then it's conflict. It's what's holding us back from love. And then the very essence of ourselves comes forward with the Devil. But this is also showing us what we're kind of addicted to, kind of coming forward. These hurts, these pains, these disappointments, these angers, these upsets. And why, Spirit just said to me, which is a really cool way of seeing it, why Capricorn is represented by the Devil is because if we can break these bonds, then the world is just absolutely open to us. But if we don't break these bonds, we're always going to find ourselves kind of chasing something that is unobtainable. So here it's looking at ourselves and being able to say, I am enough. I have enough. Where I am right now, it might not be where I want to be in the long run, but there is power and there is purpose and there is dignity here to move me forward. And that's going to be very important for us in the public arena. Yeah, it is going to be very important for us in order to move forward towards what we want from life and where we want to be, because the essence of us comes forward. Now, during this moon, okay, the moon always tells us that our power comes from surrendering to the divine. So that's going to be a game changer in and of itself. To surrender to the divine, to say, you know what, I don't have all the answers. I actually have a lot of questions. I want to see how this plays out. I want to see how things move forward. And it leads us to this time being very receptive, again, to Venus, the sun, and Chiron being all aligned and being guided by Aries, because Aries is this energy of doing. It's also this kind of like firecracker, this push forward. And we can see that if we interact with Aries within our lives, we can see that things become a little bit more intense. They can get really focused on something. And then over time, like it can die down a bit. But we're going to see ourselves really looking at our wounds from the past. And that's going to really connect with our inner self, because Chiron is also known as the wounded warrior. So the wounds from the past are being highlighted by the sun and are being calmed and healed by Venus. So during this time, we're really going to be looking at the past and seeing our power and our progress to the future. Now, with the full moon in Libra, it says a win-win outcome is forecast. Why? Well, because we have Mercury and Neptune in Pisces, and this is telling us to get out of our own heads and to start to forgive. and to really embrace ancestral healing. So as we're embracing ancestral healing, this means that we're embracing the healing from our caregivers, the people who raised us. We're embracing the healing from our ancestral line, whether we know it, whether we don't know it. We are still connected with that kind of residual memory. And we're finding ourselves stepping out of the past, even out of past lives, past disappointments, the hurts and the failures of the now, into a powerful place in the present. And that's why the Four of Swords is so intrinsically important during this time. And it's like, I get to see what I desire, what I want, and where it is that I want to be. The moon during this time will form a perfect triangle with Saturn and Mars, which is called the Grand Trine. And what this is going to do is this is going to bring protection, harmony, and ease to us, which is really quite good because we're going to see ourselves having this, it's kind of like this exquisite battle. And I know that's a weird way to describe a battle as being exquisite, but we have the Aries energy coming in from the sun, and we have the Libra energy coming from the moon, and they're polarizing energies. They really just kind of go at each other. They're very, very opposite. Aries is saying, focus on me, focus on me. And Libra is saying, focus on everybody else. And we have to find that happy medium. Because as we're moving forward during this time, Mars and Saturn, which we have the Grand Trine with, is really making us determined and motivated and giving us tremendous staying power. So it really makes us focus on what we want. And what we want during this time, it can be to just absolutely sacrifice ourselves for the happiness and the prosperity of others, which we have to be very mindful of doing because we'll get very resentful. And rather quickly during this time, this is a time where we need to step back and to say, okay, what's good for me, but also what's good for my responsibilities and the people that I care for. We have this moon very much affecting Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, you yourself, Capricorn, during this time because of the moon's alignment. So wherever we have these signs within our natal chart, that part of our personality is going to come through more and more. As we are looking at the win-win outcome being forecast, and I just have to sigh because it's like there is so much coming at us, and we start to look at where the conflict, where things are really out of balance in our lives, and we start to say, no, I don't want that disharmony anymore. I don't want that discord. I want things to be in balance. I actually am really driven towards things being beautiful. And what we're going to see during this time is that beauty plays a huge part of our lives. It does in our lives. It plays this huge, powerful ability to find balance, embrace peace and harmony. We need to look at the beauty of things. Also, we're going to be very inclined towards compromise during this time, which sounds odd since we have such conflicting energy coming forward because of the innate friendliness that Libra brings and the politeness that Libra brings. But we will also have a tendency to kind of bite up back our words because we're trying to be polite, we're trying to be friendly. And sometimes we just need to assert ourselves in that Aries way. There's going to be this part of us that thinks, oh, I can't say that, that's so rude. And there's going to be this other part of us that says, yes, I can state what I want and I can say what I want and I don't have to be nervous and I don't have to apologize. There's beauty, there's power, and there's focus to me. And that starts to open up the doors. Now it brings us to the new moon on the 12th of April in Aries. And this new moon brings beginnings and shows us that a new start is coming. And it's a new start of being able to assert ourselves, and it's time, and knowing that it's time to take action. We're taking the bull by the horns, or in this case, the ram, and we're saying, this is what I want, this is where I'm headed, this is what I desire. And it's kind of like we're peeling back all the layers to get to the heart of us, to get to what we intrinsically need in order to feel like we are thriving, like we are absolutely soaring in our world. And what is this aligning us for? And what is this getting us ready for? It's getting us ready for the full moon in Scorpio, which is on the 27th of April, which says here, it's time to release negativity. Because it is. It's time to release the negativity. What we've been doing is we've been healing. We've been seeing the places of conflict, of hurt, of pain, of disappointment. We're looking at the places where we need to fight more, where we need to be more assertive with ourselves. We need to embrace the power. And then we need to take the negativity that has compounded our lives, that has been building up and building up and building up, and say, enough. Enough is enough. I release you. And what's more, I don't want you. And that brings us to a place of assertion, of power, and of balance. And so this all plays together so brilliantly, so brilliantly. Now it brings us to the spirit animals for the month of March and also for the month of April. Now, I know we're only in March for like a blink of the eye, right? But the spirit animals still matter. The whale spirit and the wolf spirit, it says here with the wolf spirit, it says turn knowledge into wisdom, which is what life is all about. We turn the knowledge that we learn, we turn the things that we learn into the wisdom that we live by. And then with the whale spirit, it says trust the great mysteries. We're not supposed to know it all. The really cool thing about the whale spirit is that it's symbolic of the record keeper of the earth. It's symbolic of this beautiful, wise, knowing energy. And when it says trust the great mysteries, we're not supposed to know everything. We're not supposed to have everything figured out. But we are supposed to embrace the mysteries, the calm, the fact of the unknowing, the fact that there will be things in life that we will never understand, we will never know, and that's okay. It's telling us now to start listening to our inner voice. Start listening to the essence of ourselves that wants us to move forward, that wants us to go after what we desire, and to connect with our emotional power. Why? Because we're connecting with the vibrational energy of the world. Because think of a whale song. Think of the way that it just sings to your body and vibrates within your bones. There's a real sense of power here. And the wolf spirit, where we're turning knowledge into wisdom, sharpens our intellect, deepens our connection to our love of freedom and our strong instinctual self, but it also has us connecting with our place within the world and with others. And that can be something that is very uncomfortable, especially if we're in a place in our lives that we don't want to be. It's like, I do not want to be here, or I never want to visit this emotion, this feeling ever again. And that becomes us owning where we are and saying no more. And that's, again, this purging, this balancing that's being called forward astrologically during this time. And there becomes this great sense of purpose and of self and of, kind of carving out where we want to stand within the world. And it brings us to April, which we still have the beautiful wolf spirit energy coming forward, but then we have the hawk spirit, which is symbolic of the messenger of the spirit world. So we're going to find ourselves getting messages, getting inspiration. April is going to be a time where we really find ourselves being inspired, looking at things passionately and determinedly, and that's a lot to do with the new moon in Aries, and it has us opening up the door. The hawk spirit gives us power and gives us focus, clear vision, and a sense of spiritual awakening. And it says here, let spirit be our guide. Why? Because spirit can see clearer and fly higher than we ever could and we ever can. So it's like, let spirit be your guide, because tremendous things start to move us forward as we do so. Now, the chakra message here is truth. Truth balances things. And that's also, I see the scales, and it's very much connecting with the Libra full moon, because Libra is, of course, represented by scales. And so there's a sense of balancing within our truth. It's kind of like, don't lie. It's kind of like that simple adage that our parents teach us, or our guardians, or whomever raises us teaches us as we're growing. Don't lie. Speak the truth. And yes, you might lose people along the way because you've spoken the truth, but you will align with yourself. You will align with your power. And there's a sense here of knowing when to speak our truth and when to kind of step back and say, I need to think about this a bit more. There's a great sense here of really embracing our power, really embracing our greater understanding, really embracing what we desire and what we want, and this balance to lead us forward. We're going to see here that truth transcends everything. And with our throat chakra, if we start speaking our truth, it's not being cruel and it's not being mean, and it's not saying, well, this is how I see things, so this is the way that it has to be. It's being logical and fair, but it's also saying, I cannot go against the essence of myself. And when I try to, I feel less than. So it's kind of like we have a moral compass, and each person has kind of like a tweak on their moral compass. Of course, it's, generated societally and everything like that. But once we go against what's intrinsically right for us, we can feel shattered, we can feel a little bit broken, we can feel like dirty, like we've done something wrong, and it's like, ooh, I just don't feel good within myself. And so here, it's always saying to let truth be the touchstone during this time, and to communicate with the vibrational energy of the truth that we speak. And it really does empower and embolden. And it's kind of like that old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. So it's really embracing that sentiment. And the spirit guide message, which your spirit guide had a lot to say, is evolve, nature, and light. So we're evolving the nature of the light that shines in us. The evolve is to become the butterfly. It's to go from the caterpillar to the butterfly, to embrace this freedom of our nature, of what we desire, of how we want to move forward in our world. And the light that shines, the light that guides us, the light that inspires us becomes our beacon, and really becomes the thing that we are drawn to, that we are guided by. And that light can be different for everybody. It's like, you know, when you're going through a really hard time and the world is kind of tinged with gray, the memories become tinged with gray, and you're thinking, wow, I'm sad, or you might even be depressed during this time. But when things are right, it's like everything's tinged with the golden light. It's kind of like looking at a leaf when the sun is shining on it. It just becomes exquisite and beautiful. And that's what life is supposed to be. It's supposed to be tinged with this light. And we're going to find moments where things just feel right, where things feel as if they're glowing. And that really brings us to this place of powerful understanding. And it brings us to the 9 of Wands. It brings us to saying, I can't listen to everybody else's truth, everybody else's way of seeing the world, everybody else's rules of conduct. I have to listen to my own. Now, this is not saying that we don't follow societal norms, or we don't, we don't just pick fights with people. That's not what that's saying at all. The 9 of Wands is saying that if we listen to everybody and we listen to what everybody wants of us, we'll drive ourselves crazy. We just will. There will always be other people's opinions coming in. They will always have the exact right answer. And if you just do this, you'll be super happy. And we have to look at things and say, you have your life. And you have your life to rule, decide upon, and discover. You get to move forward in your life. I get to move forward in mine. And so here with the 9 of Wands, it's kind of like we find out that we're stronger than we had given ourselves credit for. Because there's this strength, there's this determination, there's this focus, there's this insight to us that starts opening up the doors, that starts gaining power. We find that we've withstood storms, and we're still finding out who we are. If you've stumbled across this channel, if you're part of this family, it's more likely than not that you are an empathic individual, which is a fantastic thing, right? But it also is rather trying. It makes you prime, kind of prey for narcissists. It makes you more feeling and connected with the world, which can make things very, very hard. And so here, when people are coming at you, or when you just feel like people are disappointed, or we're not doing things exactly right, it can make life difficult. And so it's saying here to be a little bit more selfish. And that's why the Sun in Aries is going to be so important. It's like this is beauty. Being able to connect with the world, but not being able to let the world rule us. Being able to see what we desire, but not letting what other people's desires take our focus away. And there's real strength in that. There's real power in that, of speaking our truth and then not saying, oh, well, just kidding, I didn't want to make everybody upset. So there is a power in standing in our understanding and standing in the way that we see things. And it can be very hard, and sometimes we don't want to share our truth with other people, which is totally fine. But there is a sense here of us standing strong within ourselves, and that being a game changer, because a lot is coming at us that makes us think, oh, I need to just keep everything balanced. I need to keep everything copacetic, need to keep it all harmonized. And if it goes out of harmony, it's my fault and I have to fix it. No, it's not. It's not. Sometimes things get to be broken and other people get to figure out how to put them back together, or it can just stay broken and it's not your job. And it brings us then, I have a really hard time with that. It brings us then to the Death card. It brings us to a dying away of the old self and a rebirth of the new. And that's really important, because to be able to withstand the criticism, to be able to withstand the doubts and the fears that we can perceive from the world, or that are actually, happening within the world, it has taken a part of us to die away and to be reborn. And that's why we have evolved. And that's what the spirit energy was really saying here. We have evolved because we're not the same person that we once were. And that can be upsetting, and that can be disappointing. And that can be something where we miss the innocence that we once had. We miss the wide-eyedness. We miss the sense of wonder. And we don't want to be cynical or hard or, whatever. But what we're going to find is that where we are right now, even if we find ourselves being a little bit more cynical than we really want to be, we are going to find that this becomes the jump-off point for the way that we get to evolve as we move forward, the way we get to embrace deeper energy, deeper understanding, the way we get to step into our power more and more, because we're getting used to reaching a height of spiritual awakening, shedding an old skin, and stepping into a new life, a new way of seeing ourselves, a new way of seeing our world, and then constantly, embracing that evolution of the spiritually awakened and the spiritually powerful. That leads us then to the Page of Swords. This becomes a time of being a student of the breath, of our words, of the air that we breathe. So down below is a link to Wim Hof's breathing exercises. I highly recommend them. They're exquisite, absolutely exquisite, to really have us connected with our bodies. There's also a sense here of being a student of this time. This is going to be a time where we find ourselves learning a lot. Now, if we have something that we really want to learn, that we really want to conquer and go after, this is the time for it. But there's also a sense here of a time where we might find ourselves feeling a little bit more vulnerable because we're in the student role. We're in the role of learning and discovering. And in our hearts, we're also in the role of leading and pushing forward. So it can be a time where we think, ooh, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward the right way? Do I know what it is that I truly desire? The answer is yes. Yes, we do. But there is this sense of discovery, of new things coming to us that we hadn't expected. And there really is beauty within that. And so as our eyes are opened in a way that we didn't anticipate, as we're pushed forward in a way that we didn't know we would be, there is a sense of really stepping into our bodies and ourselves and the power of our voice. Even if we just kind of, it's funny because I'm just hearing humming. So even if we just hum to embrace the vibrational energy of our voice, of our throat chakra, of this power of expression, we're going to find ourselves being more empowered with the way that we speak, with the way that we present our facts. We're going to be more empowered with the fact that we believe in our knowledge, believe in what we desire. And there's a sense here with the Four of Swords of having at the root of us, having looked at the times where things didn't go right, the times where things felt really hard, the times where we felt really overwhelmed. And there's going to be a sense here because of Mercury and Neptune in Pisces, and the connection with the root in Pisces here, with this energy coming forward and this energy really being seen. And we're looking at things that have made us feel vulnerable, that have made us feel overwhelmed, that have made us doubt ourselves, made us question our ways forward. And instead of saying, wow, I was such a fool when I was, a teenager, or when I was in my 20s or 30s or 40s, or, go on and on and on. I can't believe and instead of saying that, it's like, wow, I withstood a war. I went through hell, and I'm still standing. I've been brave when others have crumbled. I've been strong when others would have fallen apart. I fell apart, but I put myself back together. That's exquisite. There's a way a person's countenance changes. Their eyes change when they've been through something astoundingly hard and they haven't broken. They haven't given up on themselves. They've come through not weaker and more timid, but stronger and more confident. And that's what we're seeing here with us. That's the goal anyway, right? So the goal is to embrace this confidence, this power, this truth. And we can be seeing it in very different ways. We can be having realizations come our way, which is going to be for a lot of us during this time. That's like, oh my goodness, I didn't look at it like that. Like I didn't have that bit of information. But the knowledge is coming. Why? Because we're the student. We're open to it. The arms are held wide open. We're letting it in to our hearts, into our voice, into our essence. And it leads us to being queens. Now, queens do not need to be as showy as kings. Queens are more than happy to kind of step back and take things in. I very much see them as the directors behind the scenes instead of the king who is the actor upon the stage. Now, we do have the emperor energy of Aries coming forward, so there is a bit of stepping forward that people have during this time and that everybody will be embracing. But the Queen of Pentacles is really saying here to look at the prosperity that we are planting within ourselves, to see what it is that we desire, to see the bounty that we want to move forward in, to see the way that we want to nurture our success, our confidence, our bravery, our and we're pushing up the limits, and to open ourselves up to that wonderment, to that world, to that determination. Our hearts are saying, let me be prosperous, and let me embrace the essence of me, the power of me, in a royal, kind of dignified way that brings forward this bounty to all, that shares this bounty with so many more. And we're not going to know that we want to share this bounty, but we're going to see the ways that we move forward becoming rather communal, rather connective, rather, kind of intertwined with others and with other things in a way that we hadn't thought they would be. We thought, oh, this could be singular, and no, it winds up being interconnective and highly powerful because of that. It leads us then to the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is a wish being granted. It's beauty coming forward. But again, we don't see it. This is going to be very easy for other people to see. So other people during this time, Capricorn, will see us as blessed and prosperous and happy and joyous and kind of like everything moving in the right direction. We kind of see things a little bit more tense, a little bit more looking at things that maybe we wanted to sweep under the rug. And so here, there is this kind of, it's again a little bit of conflict of the way others perceive us and the way that we ourselves perceive the situation. So here there is a sense of knowledge coming forward. There is a sense of beauty. There is a sense, again, of wishes. So heart's desires get to be looked at and seen by divinity. What we've really been working towards, kind of there's a luckiness about us during this time. And it brings us then to the Knight of Wands. This is a time where the energy is making us into a warrior for our passion, a warrior for our creativity, a warrior for our connectivity to the world, to what we want, to saying there needs to be the beauty within the world. That's going to be very important. And the thing with the wands is that it's our fire. It's the reason for getting out of bed in the morning. And sometimes we drag our tush out of bed because we have responsibilities and the kids can't feed themselves and the dogs can't walk themselves and, everything like that. Or a cat, kind of swipes at our nose and it's like, okay, I'm getting up finally. But there is a sense here of that energy starting to shift. I don't know about you guys, but I do know with me, January and February are rather difficult. I find myself getting a little bit sad. It's cold, it's dark, it's gloomy. And so with March, and even though this is the end of March, when the sun starts coming out, when spring starts springing forward, it brings a sense of joy. And so here, I just see that joyousness. If you're, of course, in the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere, there's a sense of kind of like coming in and stepping into more coziness and preparing ourselves to light that torch forward and to bring forward the warmth that we want within our world. But if you're in the northern hemisphere, there is the sense of letting the light of the sun guide more and more, because we get to embrace the beauty, we get to embrace the warmth. The Knight of Wands is the defender of our passions, of what we love. It's bringing that bliss back. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And some people mock and say, well, you can't always follow your bliss. You have bills to pay. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. He wasn't saying don't pay your bills and just, be a vagabond and follow what you want. Though if that's your thing, I don't see why you can't go for it. There is a sense here of saying, I need to be happy within my life. There needs to be a sparkle of joy. I believe very much in responsibilities. Responsibilities give us purpose, when at other times we would kind of let ourselves fall into despair and let ourselves fall into kind of chaos. So responsibilities ground us and anchor us. But our bliss gets to add the beauty to the world. It's like the light shining through the leaves again, the goldenness, the exquisiteness. And so when we're moving forward as warriors, we have our armor on. We know that life gets tough. We've been there, we've seen it, we've done that. But we also know that life can be exquisite, not all the time, but moments of sheer beauty, moments of sheer understanding, moments of sheer passion and pleasure and desire and creation, and just kind of being in the zone, and time moves away and things become lovely. And that's what we're working for. And that's what we get glimpses of during this moon and during our lives. It brings us to the moon. It brings us to the entity that has us face the quiet, which has us bring forward our mind's fears, our desires, our hopes and our wishes. The moon is a reflection of the sun's light. So the moon reflects what we have done during the day, what we have desired during the day, how we have used our time, how we embrace our passion, what we look at, what we want. And there's a sense here during this time of the moon, and we're going to be very connected with this moon, of course, because in Capricorn, we are aligned with the moon, which makes us more affected by it. But also because there is wisdom to be had here, but there's also strength to be had. That's what facing fears does. It makes us stronger and stronger each time we face it, each time we look at it, each time we understand it. And so here, we're rooted in the fact in our hearts that the moon will affect our hearts. We will find ourselves to be more emotionally giving, all right? And then we will also find ourselves needing to step back and taking a little bit more, saying, I need to take time for myself. I need to refuel and heal and embrace what makes me happy. But we're also going to say, well, I need to fix what is out of balance. I need to embrace the harmony of relationships and greater purpose and power of self and expression. And so the moon plays this huge part in our hearts during this time. And it leads us to the crowning fact of the public arena, which is the Ace of Wands, which is the sense of creation and passion, determination, fire, this brilliance that leads us forward. We're getting a gift from God's source spirit, however we see the divine, the universe. And this gift is going to start opening up doors. It's going to start to open up our belief within ourselves, the way that we see what we want, the way that we go after what we want. There's a specialness during this time that we are going to be taking in. And it's like, wow, there gets to be beauty here. There's something that is repelling the darkness. And that's the gift of the Ace of Wands, of this fire, of this torch, of creation, of warmth, of inspiration. And it leads us to the Lovers. Now, the Lovers is really cool because it reminds us of the Taoist statement that this and that are true. And that's something that we're having a hard time with in our world, that we can have opposing beliefs or opposing ideas and still be okay with each other. And here, it's kind of bringing back that energy, which is a really, really good thing. It's saying we can have different opinions. We can have different ways of looking at a situation. We can have different ideas, and it can still be okay. We're bringing back love into the situation. We're bringing back that connection, that sense of, I see the God's head within you, and you see the God's head within me. We're bringing back this sense of love and commitment to what we're doing. We're falling into love again with our lives, with ourselves, with the way that we want to move forward, with dreams. Dreams become a bit more tangible, a bit more like you can almost reach out and taste it. It's like you can feel it almost. And this becomes a time where we need to create. Whether we are, kind of scientifically inclined or artistically inclined, there is a creation, there is an inspiration to what we do that starts coming forward. And that's really quite beautiful. It again brings that love. It brings that duality. It has us looking at things from different points of view, from different avenues, from different, kind of insights and ideas. And it leads us forward to facing the conflict of the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is chaos. The Five of Wands is anger. The Five of Wands is, external chaos, internal chaos, looking at things and saying, how did it get so out of hand? It can be something that started really small or as teasing, and then all of a sudden it got blown way out of proportion, and we're looking at it or we're thinking about it and saying, I don't know exactly how I got here. The Five of Wands lets us look at the chaos within us, the chaos, outside of us. And it really says, I don't need to add to this. What I need to do is I need to calm this. And we're going to find, because the Libra full moon, it's a fixer. It's a fixer moon. We're going to find ourselves wanting to cure everybody else's chaos. But we're also going to really need, because again, it makes us look at it, to cure our own chaos, to look at the things that kind of cripple us, that make us doubt ourselves, that move us forward but in the wrong direction, move us forward towards a lower energy vibration. So it's like it's moving us backwards, but it's moving us forward in a way that we just don't want to be, down a path that we don't want to walk. The chaos that we see it can come from, I just have to be perfect at everything. Or, I just have to work harder. I have to be more focused. I'm not doing really good at this. I have to fix it. And so here we're adding internal chaos to ourselves instead of saying, okay, I'm learning, I'm discovering, I'm becoming, I'm giving myself a break. I don't have to be perfect right away. No, it's going to be like, I need to be perfect right away until we realize that perfection isn't something that exists, until we cut ourselves some slack, until we, kind of embrace things with more of a humane eye, especially towards ourselves. We won't see the chaos go away because we'll be adding to it, because we'll be adding anxiety to it and doubt and fear. And so here, and that's what the moon links us to. It links us to the sense of chaos coming forward, the sense of, am I doing the right thing? Am I moving forward the right way? Do I know what it is that I want? Do I understand what it is that I need? The answer is inevitably going to be yes. But we have to kind of silence everything else. We have to really embrace being that student and being that warrior of our passion and being that student of our truth and of what we desire and of what we're speaking into the world. So instead of cursing ourselves, which is what we do when we think negative thoughts and say negative things, we add to that chaos monster. We start saying, okay, you know what? I'm heading in the right direction. I'm overcoming my obstacles. I'm embracing my brilliance. And we start to see ourselves shift. And that's when we embrace the essence of who we are with the devil. Now, the devil inevitably brings forward, things that we don't like, right? Addictions, doubts, fears, that link to chaos that we have. And what we're going to see here is that, yes, we have those doubts and those fears. We have the way that we've developed coping with certain things that might not be the most beneficial to us. It can be through substance abuse. It can be through, emotionally being astoundingly hard on ourselves, thinking we have to fix everything. These are usually ways of coping that develop when we're very little and kind of morph as we grow older. It doesn't have to be abuses of substances when we're little, but it can be, when I'm stressed, when I'm little, I would eat all the cookies, right? And that changes and that grows to something more, that instead of it's the sugar that comforts, now it's something else that comforts. So here, there is this sense of looking at our coping mechanisms and seeing what isn't helpful, the things that we've developed as children that we've carried into adulthood that don't serve this purpose. Well, don't serve a purpose to us anymore. And we're also going to see the chains that are around us, the change that we ourselves have created, but also our societal chains, the way that we think, oh, well, this is what success looks like. This is what pretty looks like. This is what, powerful looks like. And if I'm not exactly this, then obviously I failed. No, we're releasing those chains too and saying, I get to be the best version of me. And that might not be, being 6 feet tall, super skinny, and a lawyer. Though if you are, that's awesome. But if you're not tall, if you're like me and like 5'3", you can't be tall. It's just not going to happen. So here it's this sense of I am happy who I am. I'm happy with the gifts that I have, with the power of self that I have, with my own talents. And that's where we really start to embrace ourselves. We start to embrace our power on this earth. The devil is actually a corruption of ancient pagan, nature gods. So we start to become in alignment with our nature. And we start to call out the chaos within the human nature, because humans all have chaos within them. But we also start to call forward and bring forward the orderliness and the understanding and the compassion within that nature to say, okay, well, I have a tendency to be a cyclone, but I also have a tendency to be compassionate and loving, and I can balance this out. I can move me forward in a really beautiful way. And that's what we embrace here. We embrace the essence of ourselves. Instead of comparing, we start loving. And that's really quite beautiful, because we have the lovers and we have the devil. So the lovers brings forward this sense of there's more than what we realize. There's a duality to our existence and what we want. And that touches the essence of us as it calls out the chaos that has been holding us back. Now let's see what the moon has to say for itself. How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. angels, and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels. Fantastic. And let's see what the moon has to say, what Luna has to say. How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? How will Capricorn be affected by the March 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Okay. So let's see here. We have release, balance, and beauty. Yeah, the release that this moon brings balance and beauty into our lives. Will. Don't let your past hold you back. Nothing will come of the situation. The things that we think are going to happen aren't going to happen. It's not going to happen the way that we have planned. So I know for Capricorn, it's really hard to look at the plans and say, okay, I have you. I spent time creating you. I get it. It's just not going to happen this way. It's not going to be as smooth sailing as we want it to be. It's not going to be as, plan ready as we want it to be. And we have to kind of go along for the ride as much as it takes us out of our comfort zone, as much as it pains us. We have to. We just have to. It leads us to a personal issue reaches resolution. Conclusions are within reach. Again, the amplification of Aries energy. This is a full moon in Aries. It says a fiery climax approaches. There's this passionate kind of coming together and this eruption of understanding and passion and power and purpose and desire. So we have release. We start off with a release and we really end with a release. So there's a huge wave of negativity that is being released from us, that is being purged from us, and we're releasing what we don't need, what we don't want, what is in conflict with the way that we want to move forward within our lives. And that brings us into balance with ourselves, with what we desire, with who we want to be. It brings us also in balance with this moon. It has us looking at things differently than the way that we looked at things before. And it brings beauty into our lives, beauty into our nature. And if you see here with the outline of the face, the lips, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrow, that's a face. And it comes to us over time. It comes to us that there's beauty in things that we might see every day but not fully realize. It leads us to our will being astoundingly strong, a lot stronger than we thought it was. And it brings us, because we crown our hearts here. Do we crown our hearts? Yes. We crown our hearts here. And we root ourselves in our public arena. So our will is astoundingly strong. Our essence of self is astoundingly strong during this time, Capricorn. And it leads us to not letting, it says don't let the past hold you back. It's saying don't bring forward the past. It's done. It's over. We can't change it. We can learn from it, yes, but we can't change it. We can't, heal it. We can't anything it. It is simply our past. It's part of our history. And it would be written down in an angel's book somewhere, right? That's always what I thought when I was little, that angels wrote out our lives. There is a sense here of saying, I can't change it. So why am I letting it rule me? I can't run away from it. It is what it was. But why am I letting it haunt me? And I can't recreate it as much as I would like to. So why am I letting it pull me backwards instead of letting me move forward with confidence and with, power? Nothing will come of the situation. There's a real sense of nothing will come of living in the past. The things that we think this moon is going to bring us are not going to be the things that come forward. It's going to take us by surprise. It's going to give us twists and turns that we think, oh, fun, but not fun. We're not going to be as amused during it as we will be after it. There's beauty that comes forward. We have to keep an open mind. not have the rule book out, not have the list made. A personal issue reaches resolution. Yeah, because there's power here. There's determination here. There's focus here. This personal issue, it reaches a resolution. It moves us forward. And it leads us to the conclusions being within reach. The answers coming. The answers being there. And it brings us to a fiery climax, to embracing our passion, to embracing what we desire. Again, we begin with a release. We end with a release. And it's a release of passion. It's a release that aligns us with what we truly want and how we truly want to move forward. Our subconscious lunar message is here attraction. What we think about, what we focus on, we attract to ourselves. It brings us then to the next lunar message, which is have faith in your dreams. Don't laugh at what you had wished for, what you had dreamt of. Have faith in them, because they have faith in you, and they're coming forward during this time. It brings us then to our subconscious chakra message, which is balance, which again is what this moon is all about. Libra is represented by the scales, by balance. So at our root chakra, the root of us, is to come into balance with the sacred masculine, the sacred feminine, the yin and the yang, the passion and the creation. And we're going to see ourselves fighting towards that balance, towards the balance of the polarization of the Aries energy and the Libra energy. And what's so beautiful about that Aries energy and Libra energy is that Aries and Aphrodite, Venus in Roman mythology, were lovers. In Greek mythology, and I believe in Roman mythology, they were lovers. And so here we have the god of war and we have the goddess of love falling in love with each other because their passions align. So at the root of it all, our passions align. We just need to find out how to fall in love with these seemingly different aspects of ourselves, but no less beautiful, no less complementary. It leads us to our subconscious spirit message, which here is inspire. This time will inspire us in a very beautiful way. It brings us then to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Seven of Swords. We're going to find that we're taking up what we need. We're leaving the rest. Others might think that we're being a bit sneaky. We're not. We just don't need to share everything. Our world, we share too much instantaneously. It's kind of like step back, think about it a bit. Know what it is that we want, know what it is that we desire, and then move forward from there. All right, Capricorn, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we release all that has been holding us back. And we move forward in this beautiful balance of drive and of love. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Capricorn, and may you have a blessed moon.